Call is 508-924-5155. Board Member Madeline LaSalle Frazier, please make the announcement in Spanish.
Buenas noches. Se ha establecido una línea telefónica para que la comunidad pueda llamar y tenga acceso a interpretación en español en vivo. El número a llamar es el 508-924-5155. Repito, el número a llamar es el 508-924-5155. Muchas gracias.
Gracias. For those who are not able to observe now, this meeting is being recorded and can be accessed for later viewing on the Prince George's County Public Schools YouTube channel. Lastly, I would like to remind all the board members to turn on your microphones when you are speaking. Now we will go into our board prayer and pledge allegiance. Board member, Mr. Brandon Jackson, please lead us in board prayer and pledge allegiance.
Oh God, we pray to administer that which is just in all educational policies, being ever mindful of your guidance. Steer us to action with love, wisdom, and understanding. Amen.
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 Pledge of allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Now we will have the roll call. Ms. Lopez, would you please call the roll? Is your mic on?
Present.
You have to speak, get closer to it.
Mrs. Adam Stafford. Present. I'm sorry. Ms. Busser Strother.
Present.
Mr. Briggs.
Present.
Mr. Saron Ruiz.
Present.
Mr. Fields.
Present.
Mr. Harris.
here.
Mr. Jackson.
Here.
Mrs. LaSalle Frazier.
Present.
Mrs. Mickens Murray.
Present.
Dr. Zipporah Miller.
Present.
Present.
Mr. David Murray.
Present.
Mr. Valentine.
Here.
Ms. Walker.
Present.
Dr. Juanita Miller.
Present. Thank you.
We have quorum, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Now we will have the adoption of the agenda for January 12, 2023 board meeting. May I have a motion to adopt the agenda for January 12, 2023?
I move that we adopt the agenda for the January 12th meeting, 2023 board meeting.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? The motion carries. The agenda is adopted for January 12, 2023. Now we will have the approval of the meeting minutes. May I have a motion to approve the minutes for December 8th, 2022, and December 15th, special board meeting?
I move to approve meeting minutes for December 8th, 2022, and December 15, 2022.
Is there a second? It has been moved and second that we approve the minutes for December 8th, 2022, and December 15, 2022, special board meeting. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, the motion carries to approve the minutes for December 8th, 2022, and December 15th, 2022, which was a special board meeting. Now we will have our news break.
Hi, I'm Dave Zarin, and I'm here at the Prince George's County Organic Composting Facility in Upper Marlboro. And boy, do I have some dirt on what our students are doing to make our good earth even better. We have all done it. Thrown away perfectly edible food and food scraps without a thought to where they end up. But at Eleanor Roosevelt High School and 15 other Prince George's County schools, students in the cafeteria have had enough. It is time for some serious trash talk. You see, the etiquette in school lunchrooms is beginning to change for the better. For instead of just dumping their leftovers into garbage cans, students are now carefully depositing their recyclables, like plastic bottles, into blue bags, while their table scraps go into green bags that are destined for the county composting center, there to be transformed by chemical wizardry into the richest of soil additives. For the student volunteers who run the composting program and popularize it on social media, it is giving them personal pride in making a difference for the earth.
In my household, I was always taught to be to never waste food and at least save the food at least, and never to just get rid of it completely. But when I came to school, I saw how people would just dispose all their food, and it was perfectly good food, you could eat it, but they just threw it away, and that kind of angered me in a way, so that motivated me to start composting at school.
I've definitely seen an impact from our composting program. I'm asked a lot, how's composting going? A lot of students just are very engaged. I see so much more curiosity towards how's composting happening, and just a lot more willingness to learn about the environment and what individuals can do to help.
And while student Maya Miller can perfectly explain the global threat posed by landfills, she also knows that there's no place like home to start changing the planet's destiny.
I knew that landfills, especially in the U.S., were an issue. A lot of food is wasted every year and gets put into landfills where they can't carry out aerobic respiration, and that causes greenhouse gases to enter the atmosphere, contributing to climate change. Since I've gotten more involved in composting, I have gotten a composting bin for my house just to put food scraps in. And we also have a kitchen composting bin.
Prince George's County's organic composting facility, the largest on the East Coast, mixes over 32,000 pounds of food scraps and yard trim annually to produce the county's very own Leaf Grow Gold, a homegrown soil additive for lawns and gardens that, even though not visible, carries the students' signatures.
The organics recycling is just in its forefront in this county, and we're actually in the lead in the state. So we want to be the best. The kids are helping us be the best, and by doing so, they're also the best.
But while the school's pilot composting program, part of the county's Climate Change Action Initiative, is growing awareness of recycling nutrients, it is also nurturing something far richer. Students with newly discovered confidence and leadership skills.
Our composting system works, it's through student involvement. It focuses a lot on volunteers, but also the students themselves. I like to think of it as a teaching experience, where at the beginning we're walking them through it and leading them through the process, and then hopefully over time they're able to just compost themselves and know what needs to go where.
I used to be not a very confident person, but now with the composting and everything, it made me into a more stronger and confident person.
Who knew that table scraps could build dirt and character at the same time? Congratulations to all our young environmental guardians. May they keep doing what they do.
Thank you. Now we will move to the unsung partner. Tonight's unsung partner is a special guest of board member LaSalle Frazier.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is by far one of my favorite parts of being a board member. In being able to visit schools and visit community partners, I get joy in seeing the wealth of resources that we have in our community. And in one of those visits, I had the pleasure of visiting Panorama Elementary very early on in my visits. And personally loved the school. I think District 8 is a great district. We have so many great people working there. And I met this woman by the name of Takia Toomer. And she's a 22-year veteran educator who's serving our students and families as a community school coordinator at Panorama. I was instantly taken in by her professionalism and her dedication to our students and her wealth of knowledge of our community resources. I am a big believer that we have to honor our biggest resources, which are our students and our staff and our community. So when I saw all the things that she's doing, I really wanted her to be our unsung partner. Ms. Toomer is also executive director of Judge Me Now, which is a nonprofit that focuses on eliminating illiteracy, offering students early exposure to STEAM professions. She combats food insecurity and offers community service opportunities and mentoring. She provided over 1,000 families in need with food in 2022. She held Thanksgiving food giveaway to 150 families and a Christmas toy giveaway for over 125 of our families. She also partners with Shaba Ministries to host monthly opportunities for teens to earn their service learning hours for graduation. She resides in Upper Marlboro with her husband, Marcus, her daughter, Imani, her sister, Shantae, and her dog, Carmen. She enjoys reading, crafting, exploring outdoors, and helping others. She holds a bachelor's in education from St. Augustine's University and a master's degree in counseling from Trinity University. She also holds certifications in elementary and middle school education, special education, ESOL, Admin 1, pupil personnel worker, professional school counselor, and reading specialist. It is such a great pleasure that I can honor Ms. Toomer with the Unsung Partner Award for her leadership and advocacy work in the schools in our community. She's a great example of the wealth of resources that we have here in our community. So I want to present this award to her.
Is the photographer still here? Is the photographer still here?
Thank you, everyone. It is my pleasure to serve Prince George's County Public Schools. Thank you, everyone. It is my pleasure to serve Prince George's County Public Schools. My daughter, my sister, and my husband, I thank them as well because they're not only with me when we're with our nonprofit, they're with me at school for everything that's going on. So we have a joke saying that they're staff members for PGCPS as well. But thank you all, and I enjoy serving.
Thank you. Let's get some pictures.
Let me read this to you. It says, presented to Takia Toomer, Community School Coordinator at Panorama Elementary, as our unsung partner for her leadership and advocacy towards working to eliminate illiteracy and offering students early exposure to STEAM professions through active engagement in schools and in the community. Thank you.
Getting a photograph also. The family, come on down. Congratulations.
Should I use my camera? Yes, I think so. You have a camera?
Who gets the Again, thank you. And now for the report of the chair. I hadn't anticipated sitting in the January meeting as the chair, but here I am again and look forward to continue working with the board and the public. First, I'd like to introduce our new members. I'm not sure whether we introduced them before, but I'll do it again. We have our new board members, Mr. Walter Fields, Mr. Jonathan Briggs, Mr. Brandon Jackson, and Ms. Lolita Walker, our new vice chair at that. Thank you. I don't have very much to say tonight, except colleagues, at this time I ask that all of you join me in honoring the memory of the following Prince George's County Public Schools staff, family, and community members with a moment of silence. For Elvin Eduardo Carranza, student, High Point High School. Terrell A. Pinkney, sheet metal roofing repairman, building services, facilities, service space. Joyce Dagner, food service manager, Fairmont Heights High School. Patricia Moore, paraprofessional educator, H. Winship Wheatley, ECC. Please continue to keep these families in your thoughts and prayers. We have upcoming board meetings. The Policy and Governance Committee will meet virtually on January 17th, 2023 at 5 p.m. And joining that committee will be Mr. Field, Walter Fields, and did you all decide whether Brandon or Briggs?
Mr. Briggs.
They're negotiating, so one of them will be on there. And then we have the Operations, Budget, and Fiscal Affairs Committee, which will meet virtually on January 18th. That might be changed because a couple of members have indicated they will not be in attendance. And the chairperson of that committee is Dr. Kenneth Harris. And the Policy and Governance Chair Committee is Ms. Judy Mickens-Murray. Then there's the Academic Achievement Committee, which will meet virtually on January 23rd at 5:30. And the chair of that committee is Dr. Zipporah Miller. The first virtual work session will be on January 26th at 5 p.m., and virtual budget hearing will start at 7 p.m. Our next board meeting will be held on February 23rd at 7 p.m. Please continue to check our webpage for information about the upcoming board meetings. And for the audience, we are updating our website to include our new members and new information. Now we will have the report of the Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Golson. I now yield the floor to you to present your report.
Thank you, Dr. Miller. Good evening. I am proud to announce that 12 of our high school seniors have been named 2022 Posse Scholars and will receive 4-year full tuition college scholarships. These students will enter colleges and universities in multicultural groups of 10, known as posses. Throughout their college career, they will support each other and receive ongoing assistance from the Posse Foundation. Posse scholars have a 90% college graduation rate and demonstrate potential to positively impact their professions. Each scholarship is worth approximately $140,000. Congratulations again
Let the media print that.
to our 12 Posse scholars. In our ongoing work to address learning loss from the COVID-19 pandemic, we are continuing to partner with Book Nook, learning to build student skills in reading. Free virtual tutoring sessions for kindergarten through grade 5 will start on February 27th. Reserve your child's space now, and the registration link can be found on our website. We received over 6,200 responses from families, staff, and students on the Culture and Climate Survey. We appreciate your input and look forward to sharing results from the survey this February. Your feedback is critical to help us plan for the next school year. If you have any questions, please feel free to email strategicplanning@pgcps.org. Students who are in the career and technical education programs at High Point, Parkdale, and Potomac High Schools will now be able to participate in a new program entitled Blacks in Government. The program will provide mentorship, a training academy, career and technical education, pre-professional career opportunities, and scholarships. I'd like to thank Ms. Adams Stafford for recommending this partnership. There is still time to apply to some of our specialty programs for the 2023-2024 school year. The deadline to apply for public charter schools is January 27th. The application deadline for the teacher preparation program at the Academy for Health Sciences at Prince George's Community College has been extended through January 17th, and the deadline to apply to talented and gifted specialty programs is March 15th. Visit our website for additional details. And finally, as a reminder, January 25th is the second of 3 half-day virtual instructional days for this school year. All students will attend school virtually from home that day, and then again on March 31st. Virtual Instruction Day provides teachers with additional time for end-of-the-quarter grading and planning while maximizing learning opportunities for our students. This concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Golson. Ladies and gentlemen, I was remiss in announcing that the board staff director will be leaving us on Friday. So we will be bidding Mr. Jode Newsom, we won't say goodbye because he'll still be in Prince George's County Public Schools. But I'd like to thank him publicly for his service to the board. And I don't know whether Dr. Golson mentioned it, but we're losing the finance man. Did you?
Yes, so I'm going to reopen my report and just want to announce that we will be losing our Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Michael Hertzman, to another school district at the conclusion of next week. He will be missed. Definitely. We have an amazing budget team that will still be here who will have us walk us through the entire budget process, but he is part of the Prince George's County professional family for life. So I just want to wish him the best.
Thank you. Okay, now we will move to 2.11, Progress Report from the Policy and Governance Committee, presented by Chair Judy Mickens Murray.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. I am going to ask our Vice Chair, Board Member Saron Ruiz, to present this progress report on behalf of the Policy and Governance Committee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening, everyone. The Policy and Governance Committee is charged with facilitating short and long-range strategic planning for the school system, providing oversight of the board policy, legislative and government matters involving federal, state, county, and municipal governmental agencies and officials. The committee shall ensure that board governing policies are current and compliant with federal, state, and county laws, and consistent with best practices in public education. The Policy and Governance Committee is comprised of the following members: Mrs. Judy Mickens Murray, Chair, Board Member at Large; Mr. Alvaro Cerrone Rees, Vice Chair, Student Member of the Board; Ms. Pamela Boozer Struther, Board Member, District 3; Dr. Juanita Miller, Ex Officio Member; Mrs. Robin Welsh, Administration Representative, Office of Government Relations, Compliance, and Procedures; Mr. Dennis Whitley, Board Legal Counsel, Shipley and Horn; and Ms. Cindy Adlian, Board Secretary. The committee currently meets monthly to review policies. An important tool in tracking and monitoring the policies review process is the P&G Policy Tracker, which is located on the board webpage. This policy tracker, created by Ms. Adlian in 2022, provides the committee a timeline and status of the administrative staff review and revision of the 32 policies approved in the school year 2022-2023 work plan. The status of policies to date are as follows. Policies that have been enacted so far are 5, with one of them being a brand new policy. We have 8 policies pending board approval, 19 remaining policies for review, 1 policy that's been rescinded, 7 policies with substantive changes, and 5 policies with no substantive changes. You can find the status of the school year 2022-2023 policy work plan as a part of this report on board docs. Thank you, everyone, and thank you to all the members of the Policy and Governance Committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cerrone Ruiz. And he has been on his job because he sent me an email yesterday reminding me to assign the new board members to their committee because they are short 2 people, am I correct? Yeah. So he is on his job. Thank you. And now, Ms. Mickens Murray will present the recommendations.
Thank you so much. The Policy and Governance Committee met virtually on December 13, 2022, and discussed the revisions to the following policies. Policy 3500, naming of schools, school district facilities, dedicating areas of schools and school district facilities or grounds, and erecting monuments. This policy's purpose is to establish an equitable process by which the board can name or rename schools and other school districts' facilities, or the naming of components of schools and school district facilities or grounds, or decide to erect monuments to honor individuals or organizations that made an exceptional contribution for the benefits of students in the school district. The second policy, Policy 4200, rules of procedures in hearings requested under 6-202 and appeals and hearings under Law 4-205 of the Education Article. The purpose of this policy is to provide the rules of procedures for hearings and appeals pursuant to the following provisions of state law. The Chief Executive Officer's recommendations for suspension or dismissal of certified employees pursuant to 6-202 of the Education Article, Annotated Code of Maryland, and the CEO's designee's decisions involving all other controversies and/or disputes, including but not limited to employment action against non-certified employees pursuant to 4-205 of the Education Article, Annotated Code of Maryland. On behalf of the board, I make a motion that these 2 policies be open to seek public comment.
Is there a second? It has been moved in second to receive policies 3500 and 4200 for public comment. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Thank you. That completes, the motion carries to submit the policies 3500 and 4200 for public comment. Thank you, Board Member Mickens Murray. public comment on agenda and non-agenda items. Let's see, there are 3 public live comments and 1 written comment and 1 pre-recorded video. Our first speaker is Dolores Millhouse, individual, perception of PGCPS. We are all accountable.
Dr. Miller?
Oh, excuse me.
We can-
Should I
I
go?
don't have it. She's not. Thank you. My apologies. You have been registered to speak in a public comment forum where the Board of Education will listen to your comments. The board will not address your comments. All registered speakers will have 3 minutes to make their presentation. Registered speakers may not relinquish any part of their speaking time to another registered or unregistered individual. Speakers may not address individuals or issues with profanity or derogatory terms. You will be warned once. If you continue, your comments will be muted and you may be removed from the meeting. Speakers are encouraged to use titles rather than names. For example, CEO, Deputy Superintendent, Board Member, etc. Your adherence to these guidelines will enable the public participation process to move smoothly. And now, Ms. Millhouse.
Thank you. Good evening, Dr. Miller, Chair Dr. Miller, and CEO Dr. Golson, and distinguished board members and guests. My name is Dolores Millhouse, parent of 2 amazing bilingual intellectual scholars who attend school in District 6 but reside in District 7. Today, my ask is simple. Remember that your behavior has a direct impact on the students you took an oath to serve. Remember the passion you had to get into those seats and what promises you made to get there. Remember the board's vision. PGCPS will be a great school system recognized for providing education services, which ensures that every student in our diverse school district graduates ready for college and careers in a global society. Remember the board's mission, to provide a great education that empowers all students and contributes to thriving communities. Remember the board's core values, especially where number 1 states students are our priority and all students can achieve at high academic levels, as well as high expectations inspire high performance. As a governing body, your dream came true and you have reached another goal in your vision board. But every time you publicly cast blame or think that racist memes or misogynistic behavior is the answer to addressing differences, it blurs the lines between what was once a tagline, that I'm here for the children, to it's all about me and my dreams. The perception of what's happening in our school district is that the education of our children, or that the education our children are receiving is subpar, which means that my children cannot possibly be in a position upon graduating to compete on a global or local or global level, and I know that's a lie. And so I stand before you because this is very personal for me, because I have 2 children that are educated in this school system. And so for those of you who don't understand what that looks like, that means that I have to stand here and advocate and work with you all as a partner in education, because I believe in what we're doing. I believe in when we're saying that we're going to make this a great system, that it's happening. But the only way it can happen is if we make sure that the perception and the behavior that you have casts the right perception on my children. Because when I go out and I'm asking and talking to other schools and they say, where do you attend? And my child says Prince George's County Public Schools, the first thing they say to him is, what sport? He is not athletically built. So then he responds and says, but what about your debate team? And then he speaks in his second language that he learned in this school district. So if I'm saying to you that what we are doing is working, let's figure out how we work together in a way that we are not publicly casting doubt on what we're doing here, but we are saying that together we are going to do this. And so if you can take the time to stand in front of the media to talk about what's not working, think about how if you say a couple of things that are working, the impact that it will have on your message. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Millhouse. Timothy Meyer, Mount Rainier PTO, the future of Prince George's County Public Schools.
Thank you, Dr. Miller. First, I am a proud District 3 parent here to congratulate Dr. Goldson on her recent announcement. I will admit, I hope it is not really retirement. Take some time off, enjoy your family, and I hope we see you back as Education Secretary in a couple years. A not so subtle hint for those in Annapolis or Washington. But on behalf of Mount Rainier Elementary, thank you for everything, and there's still more to do and projects to finish. Now, this board has to make a decision. Spend the next 6 months working together with our CEO to build on the progress we've made, or some of you continue to undermine and micromanage her. Your actions do have consequences. You've cost us the leadership of Dr. Thornton. We've lost dedicated board members, tired of infantile harassment and bullying. Now, Dr. Goldson's words make quite clear she's fed up with you too. This board must pick between a partner for our CEO or political ambition and interference. This job is about our kids, not your next campaign. Parents know which of you value entitlement over Title I. Which of you went out of your way to meddle on behalf of a wealthy specialty school, used your voting bloc and political cronies to make threats, and split Hyattsville Middle School 3 ways in the middle of a pandemic. And after you caused the chaos, we also know which PGCPS leaders stood with parents working together for more than a year to help clean up your mess. We remember who worked with us, and we will never forget who sold our kids out. Speaking of selling out, the Greenbelt News followed the money, showing how one board member here is bought and paid for by the spouse of another. $6,000, $21,000. It looks like donate for a vote is the new pay to play. Well, here's the board handbook and the official board policy that says avoid being placed in a position of conflict of interest. Something that I hope everyone here can remember. Finally, after her announcement, Dr. Goldson talked about her why, which for her is her family. So for each of you, what is your why? What, your next political office, or are you here to really serve the students of PGCPS? Many of you I have faith in. A few of you, I genuinely believe that despite any past alliances, you are here for the right reason. You are better than their games. So be independent, work with your colleagues, and together, let's give Dr. Goldson the send-off that she deserves. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mr. Meyer. Delvin Champagne. Hello.
Thank you guys for having me. Good evening.
Thank you.
My name is Delvin Champagne. I am a parent of 3 PGCPS students. I'm a husband and I'm a PTA member, Door Kennedy French Immersion. I'm an educator. Me and my wife, we're both licensed occupational therapists, IEP, 504, related services. I was pleasantly surprised, and I represent an organization that's called Strategic Collegiate. We are a biomedical and health sciences engineering STEM program here in the county. I was pleasantly surprised that, I don't know if Dr. Goldson or her staff, someone responded to my email this week. Thank you for that response. I was blown away, but thank you for that. Guy spoke eloquently, but in Prince George's County, we need a win in Prince George's County public schools, and I have an answer to that. Opportunity for a great send-off for Dr. Goldson. When I was at Howard Graduate School, I was able to attend a program called BSCP, which is a program with the Harvard Medical School joint programs called Biomedical Sciences Careers Program, and that was 10 years ago, and I'm paying it forward now, and I have 13 students registered for the spring conference in Boston, 6 from Flowers, 5 from Bladensburg, and 2 from CMIT. Awesome STEM students. Dr. Jarman at Flowers is one of my supporters. We need a little bit of support. I know it's budget and so forth, but Senator Malcolm Augustine, who's a Harvard graduate, he helped find us a sponsor for our flight, and we're working with some other community members, but we're still a little bit short. And so we are trying to get these kids to Boston and help with their hotel transportation, hotel and ground transportation. And so I have a written testimony here, and we have support from CMIT and Bladensburg high schools. The conference, it's a 2-day conference at Harvard Medical School, the Diversity STEM Conference Biomedical. We're going to take a trip, take the students to NSBE is going to give a tour of MIT. We're going to go to the W.B. Du Bois Center at Harvard College, learn about African American history and art. We need $3,000, guys. Anybody can help us. We need a little bit of love to get these kids to Boston and have a great trip. Last point, Dr. Devin Cromati, who is a PGCPS graduate from Eleanor Roosevelt, is a Howard undergrad and a Harvard Medical School in public health, is our ambassador in Boston, is waiting to meet with these students in Boston. We want to just hope you guys can help us get these kids to Boston. The foundation or some other means, we're going to keep pushing to take these kids to Boston. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Champagne. Ms. Christy Lynch, PGCEA Board of Directors, Black Lives Matter.
Good evening to the chair and the board and our CEO and everyone present. My name is Christy Lynch. I am the PGCEA Board Liaison to our Racial and Social Justice Committee. And I stand here before you this evening in support of the Black Lives Matter at School proclamation. We support this movement to raise awareness about injustices that exist at the intersections of race, class, gender, and including mass incarceration, police brutality, poverty, unaffordable housing, income disparity, and immigration policies, as well as poor access to health care. A Black Lives Matter Week of Action will allow our students and educators to create a pathway for the words freedom and justice for all to become a reality. Examining the past and looking forward to the future and becoming active agents of change. Our students matter. This is an opportunity to start an honest, ongoing conversation about institutional racism, equity, equality, social justice, access to quality health care, immigration, race, class, gender, government policies. The pandemic brought to light the disparities in education and housing and unemployment, medical care, and various other social services. Our students are bright, intelligent, and curious learners. They are not only the leaders of tomorrow, but leaders of today, as we witness by the fact that we do have a student member on our board here. I had the opportunity recently to share with my students a news story about the youngest Black mayor in the United States. He's from a small town called Earl, Arkansas, which has approximately 2,000 people. His name is Jalen Smith, and he's 18 years old. He campaigned on issues that matter. He plans to focus on transportation, public safety, and bringing a major grocery store to the city, increasing residents' access to food sources. It's a cause that he's very passionate about. But one interesting note is that Jalen was diagnosed as a student with a learning disability. He did not let his diagnosis stop him. His self-awareness, passion, and heart for people placed him in the mayor's office. We can plan and talk all we want, but it does take actions. And our schools are ready to act. So please support our students by supporting this proclamation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Lynch. Mary Hart, an individual sent a written notice with questions on historical designation of Fairmont Heights High School. And for public comment, a pre-recorded video was received from Carol Prescott, individual, request to amend Chromebook policy. So, Dr. Golson, okay. Before moving on to the next item for the consent agenda, I was remiss in mentioning that the Ethics Committee selection group, or the Ethics Selection Committee, I should say, has been formed, and it will consist of our two legal counsel, Bradley Farrar, Dennis Whitley, our general counsel, Tammy Turner, our vice chair, Lolita Walker, our board member, Dr. Kenneth Harris, and Dr. Juanita Miller. And we will be meeting soon to interview 7 candidates who have applied for these volunteer positions. Thank you for your patience or your indulgence. Now, Dr. Golson, please introduce items 4.1 through 4.5.
Thank you. Items 4.1 through 4.5 requires board approval of proclamations commemorating National Counseling Week, observation of African American Read-In Month, National African American History Month, observation of Career and Technical Education Month, and Black Lives Matter during the month of February 2023.
May I have a motion to approve items 4.1 through 4.5?
I move that we adopt items 4.1 through 4.5 presented by Dr. Golson.
Second.
It has been moved in second to adopt the proclamations commemorating National Counselors Week, observation of African American Read-In Month, observation of National African American History Month, observation of Career and Technical Education Month, and Black Lives Matter. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? The motion carries to approve these proclamations as stated. Now we will move to the budget consent agenda. Dr. Golson, would you please introduce items 5.1 and 5.2?
Thank you. Items 5.1 through 5.2 requires board approval of the February 2023 expenditure requirements and secondary school reform renovation for the Military Science Academy at Parkdale High School.
May I have a motion to approve the February 23rd expenditure requirements and the FY15 Parkdale High School renovation for the Military Science Academy?
Madam Chair, I move that the board accepts items 5.1 and 5.2 under the budget consent agenda.
It has been moved in, who was that? Okay. It has been moved in second to approve the February 23rd, February 2023 expenditure requirements and the FY15 Parkdale High School SSR renovation for the Military Science Academy. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none. The motion the motion carries. I have to repeat it. The motion carries to approve the FY 2023 expenditure requirements and the FY15 Parkdale High School SSR renovation for the Military Science Academy. Now we will move on to 6.0, governance for second reader. Board member Sheila Adams Stafford, please introduce items 6.1 and 6.2.
Thank you very much. Greetings. We are pleased to announce exciting updates regarding the Parent Community Advisory Council. The purpose of this committee is stated in Prince George's County's Public Schools Policy 1500, pursuant to the Annotated Code of Maryland Education Article 4-112. The purpose of this policy is to establish a citizen advisory committee entitled the Parent and Community Advisory Council, PCAC, to ensure that the board and chief executive officer are informed by a variety of opinions from citizens and staff when considering specific issues, policies, activities, and programs. The members of this committee applied and were chosen by board members. They are local leaders, parents, and guardians that have demonstrated strong track records of service to the PGCPS community. These members represent each of our 9 districts. We look forward to them engaging community members around issues and policies that affect our staff and students and bring forth recommendations to make our school system the best it can be. The PCAC committee members are Talise Wood, District 1, Adrian Mayo Brown, District 2, T. Carter Ross, District 3, Keisha Thorpe, District 4, Clarence Dixon, District 5, Sateria Hollenshed, District 6, Dolores Millhouse, District 7, Chair, Kyra Walker, District 8, Recording Secretary, Sharon Porter, District 9, Dr. Sheila Jackson, who is our CEO representative, Mrs. Robin Welsh, our CEO representative, Reverend Dr. Orlando Jermaine Bago, faith-based representative, Carletta Lundy, civic community representative, Will Epps, who is the vice chair, and business representative. Also, Leslie Horton, who is our union representative from PGCEA. Thank you, and that concludes my comments for 6.1. So can I move on to 6.2?
Yes.
Okay. On December 8th, 2022, the Board of Education voted to receive the Parent and Community Advisory Council, PCAC, bylaws as first reader. The proposed bylaws are in accordance with the Board Policy 1500 and the annotated Code of Maryland Education Article 4-112 to govern PCAC as a standing advisory committee within the laws of Maryland and PGCPS policies. The Parent and Community Advisory Council bylaws will be voted on by the full board on January 12, 2023, at this board meeting with the recommendation to approve the bylaws. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the bylaws for the Parent and Community Advisory Council.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and second to approve the bylaws for the Parent and Community Advisory Council. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Is there any opposition? Hearing none, the motion passes to approve the Parent and Community Advisory Council bylaws.
Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you. Now we have Board Member Mickens Murray introducing items 6.3 and 6.6.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On December 8, 2022, the Board of Education voted and approved the following 4 policies as first reader. Policy 4114, School Official Financial Disclosure Rescission. New policy, Pedestrian Safety Plans. Policy 120, System Oversight. And Policy 4112, Appointment of Personnel, which provides guidance for the appointment of Prince George's County Public Schools personnel. Madam Chair, at this time, I move that we approve for second reader policies in 6.3, 6.4, 6.5.
What about 6.6?
I need to do that separately. I'm sorry.
Okay. May I have a second to approve items 6.3, 6.4, and 6.5?
Second.
It has been moved and second that the board approve item 6.3, rescission of policy 4114, the 6.4, new policy, pedestrian safety plans, 6.5, policy 0120, system oversight. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition?
Did you
Excuse
have a
me, there
question?
was Mr. Valentine, I apologize.
No, thank you. I just wanted to clarify from the chair of the committee about rescinding policy 4114 and what that actually means moving forward for the board. I understand it was removed because apparently it said it was outdated or redundant, or I can't remember the terminology that was used. Just wanted to know.
Yes, the description was out of date, and it did not apply anymore as it was written.
Just for those who are watching and believe that we no longer have to go through this exercise moving forward, how are the community going to understand that we are declaring whether we have any conflicts moving forward? Is this the only strategy of doing so, the only avenue of doing so, or are there other avenues that we disclose potential conflicts?
You mean for rescission, policies that are in rescission, that we're going to have in rescission? Is that your question?
No, just moving forward, as a policy, we're rescinding this policy, but moving forward, for those who are watching, just to understand that, are there other avenues that board members will be disclosing their potential conflicts of interest with their position in the school system?
Yes, I think policy 0107, ethics policy, I believe that covers conflicts, and I can't think of another one.
The ethics policy actually has it included.
Thank you. I just want folks who are watching just to not move forward assuming and reporting that we just rescinded this so that it's the Wild West, but know that there is a policy that will cover that moving forward.
Good point. I appreciate your request and the clarification. Thank you. For policy 4112, Madam Chair, may I continue? May I continue?
We have to vote
Okay.
first.
For policy 4112.
We didn't vote. We didn't finish.
Oh, I'm
the vote.
sorry. We had to vote on
That
three.
was discussion.
Okay, sorry.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? The motion carries to approve the rescission of policy 4114, the new policy, pedestrian safety plans, policy 0120, system oversight.
Thank you. Colleagues, policy 41112, appointment of personnel, which provides guidance for the appointment of PGCPS personnel. There was a tweak to this policy. Dr. Golson, do you want to speak to it, or do you want me to read the statement? Okay, fine. Please note that the language in this policy has been tweaked slightly to provide additional clarity regarding the distinct roles of the CEO and the Board of Education in the appointment of personnel. Are there any questions? So Madam Chair, at this time, I move that we approve policy 4112 as a second reader.
Second.
It has been moved in second to approve policy 4112, the appointment of personnel. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, policy 4112, appointment of personnel, is approved.
Thank you.
Now we will move into new business, of which we have none at this time. And there's nothing on our consent agenda either, non-consent agenda. Colleagues, follow-up items will be posted in board docs. Now we will move to motion to confirm actions taken in executive session. Motion and second to confirm actions taken in executive session included to receive a report from the CEO, to discuss approved student appeals, to discuss approved personnel matters, to receive a report from internal audit. May I have a motion to confirm actions taken in the executive session on January 12th, 2023?
I move that we confirm confirm actions taken in executive session for January 12th, 2023.
It has been moved in second to confirm the actions taken in executive session on January 12th, 2023. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? The motion carries. To confirm actions taken in the executive session, to receive a report from the CEO, to discuss approved student appeals, to discuss approved personnel matters, to receive a report from internal audit. Now we will move to the election of a board chair. Mr. Farrar and Mr. Whitley will now apprise the board and the public regarding the board chair election procedure process.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board. As you recall from last month, we have 2 candidates for the board chair. We will distribute ballots to each of the board members, and we will collect those ballots as the tellers. We will tabulate the ballots and present the results of the election to the chair.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm glad Curtis brought it to my attention. Well, see, they should have this ready for us the day before. Thank you. Yes. The candidates for chair are Judy Mickens Murray and Shayla Adams Stafford. Turn your mic off.
Madam Chair, on the ballots we've received, there were a total of 13 votes cast. The number of votes for Board Member Shayla Adams Stafford was 5, and the number of votes for Board Member Judy Mickens Murray was 8.
We have a new chair. We have a new
Madam
chair.
Chair, you need to.
The number of votes cast, 13. Number of votes for nominee Shayla Adams Stafford, 5. Number of votes for nominee Judy Mickens Murray, 8. But it's 14 of us. What happened? Oh, okay.
One person did not vote.
Okay. Thank you. So I will now turn the gavel over to Ms. Mickens Murray. Is that the procedure? Madam Parliamentarian? Yes. I now turn the gavel over. I'm not moving my stuff tonight, but I'd like to.
Thank you.
I didn't say you could sit
Oh,
there.
I can't sit. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. To my colleagues, I want to say thank you. I appreciate the confidence that you have given me, and I promise you, moving forward, we will become a board of distinction with your help. So thank you guys so very much. Now, may I? I'm sorry.
I was wondering why this was up here. I guess it's for your forehead.
You have a sense of humor. Thank you. Okay, colleagues. I'm here, right? Okay. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you so much.